Happy week 6, everyone. Jim Coventry from RotoWire here, getting ready to do our start sit stream for the week. Bears, Jaguars. Gabe Davis drops a touchdown. No surprise to Josh Allen from the Bills. Remember those days quite well. Trevor Lawrence, welcome to the club. Caleb Williams, again, spatial awareness looking better each week. Made a couple nice runs, 56 yards, a couple touchdown passes to Cole Kmet. Caleb Williams, things are looking up. The opponents haven't been tough, but again, it's those little isolation things like his comfort in the pocket, his sliding, getting down at half in the midfield point on that one run when there was a defender kind of in his peripheral vision instead of taking a big hit. I just really enjoy seeing the progress of Caleb Williams. Again, opponent notwithstanding, it's great to see. You'll notice on the sheet that I have on the screen for you, there are players with red and green. Everybody's ranked appropriately, but as I'll answer some questions on people, if it's red, I do see a scenario for unexpected downside. If I see green, I see some potential for unexpected upside for those players. A lot of players don't have any marking at all. It's just kind of a typical regular ranking, so you can ask questions away. All right, let's get back to it here. Start up here. Trey, welcome. Good morning to you. Pick 2, Slayton, Wicks, Ford, or Downs. A little bit concerned with Downs because Anthony Richardson completed almost exactly half of his passes. There's been no touch on anything underneath. He's been very good on downfield passes. Not like Downs can't get open downfield in the slot, but I am nervous with him with Richardson right now, and I have Downs rostered on some teams. So I think that he could catch some passes. I just don't think it's not like a Flacco game where he's catching 8 passes. I think if he goes 4 catches and hopefully one of those is long, Jerome Ford's a good floor play this week. I think that he's fair enough. He'll catch passes against Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia's going to learn other teams are going to send a lot of pressure. So I do think he gets some screens. I think he's a high floor play for you there. Half PPR limits him. Dontavian Wicks, 5 drops. He's caught about 35% of the passes in his direction. It just right now, it's like a bad vibe. Slayton, again, he's a very good player. He's in a good situation. I don't think Cincinnati's going to roll coverage to him. So it's my team, I'm going to go with Slayton and Ford for the higher floors and that. I do think Slayton is a good floor play because as the outside receiver, he does have Daniel Jones' trust. All right, we got Chris next. Morning, you as well. Need a wide receiver in the flex. Harrison, McLaurin, Dowdle, Sermon, and Tracy Jr. I do like Tracy this week with Singletary out. Another easy run defense. Seattle, I overestimated them last week. Seattle was not good, but this week Cincinnati sold out to stop the run against Baltimore, and they paid through the air for that. I don't think they come into this game saying, oh my gosh, we got to stop Tyrone Tracy. So I think it's a wheels up matchup here. Run blocking's been good enough for the Giants, and it's really hard to sit Harrison right now. I know he hasn't really produced at a high level, but I do think in his Green Bay, they play a softer defense. I think there's going to be a lot underneath for him. I think it's a really good opportunity for McLaurin. I'm sorry, looking at your next player for Harrison to have a game here. So I do think we look at that very favorably. So, Jair Alexander, I don't think that's going to be, if he's healthy, I don't think that's going to be an issue for Harrison. McLaurin, look, here's the thing. Cleveland played man. There was nobody over the top. He got a long touchdown. Cincinnati, bad safety play. Easy touchdown over the top or a long play. I think Baltimore is smart enough defensively to say, you know what? Keep Daniels in the pocket, put a guy over the top so McLaurin can't beat us, and what are they going to beat us with? That's my guess. I could be wrong. I'm fading McLaurin for that reason. Dowdle, it's a bad matchup. Detroit's lights out against the run. Sermon, it's a middling matchup. I like Tracy better. I'm going to go Harrison and Tracy there. All right, let's see what we got here. Chris, Dowdle or Chase Brown? I just talked about Dowdle's matchup. Chase Brown, I think there's teams are playing a real high shell on against Cincinnati, and the coaches realize they're giving Brown and Moss easy carries against these zone defenses, and they're getting free yardage, and they're very smart at taking it, and they're dumping it up. So Chase Brown, I think he's healthy enough to play. It sounds like he is. So I'm going to go with Chase Brown there. Jay Red, good morning to you. Need 2, Goddard, Chase Brown, and Slayton. I'm a little concerned that Goddard after the 2 big games now that A.J. Brown's back, and then we get Devontae Smith, who missed the last game, back. So I really think Goddard was in the right place at the right time. I kind of predicted him to have big games in those 2. Unfortunately, he did. But now I think he's kind of back to where he was. That said, him and Slayton are close. I think Goddard gets he could have more catches in this game, but I still think Slayton is probably gonna be a high scoring game. And I think they're gonna need Slayton here. I think it's a little risky because Slayton's kind of a boom bust type player as it is. I'm going to go with Chase Brown, and I'm going to recommend Slayton 52-48 over Goddard. If you have a gut feel on Goddard, go with it. But I think Slayton gets at least one downfield shot in this game, and that might be enough to out yardage Goddard. Jeff, 3 vital decisions. I like that. Eckler or Irving? I imagine Eckler is going to have to catch some screen passes. And we know in this offense, they'll throw to their running backs and no Brian Robinson here. And so I think that's going to be a big part of getting past Baltimore is trying to screen to the running back. Irving is clearly just a volume play. The matchup against New Orleans is not a good matchup. It's in New Orleans. That makes it a little more. I know Kareem Hunt ran him. It was 3 and 4 tight end sets just blowing them away. That's not the case here. So I'm going to give Eckler and PPR the edge. Pollard or Bijan, that's tough because Bijan obviously has been getting spelled quite a bit, but ultimately they're playing Carolina. Carolina has nobody. Josie Jewell's out. They lost Shaq Thompson a couple weeks ago. First week they lost Derek Brown. They have nobody. If Bijan can't get it done this week, I don't know what he's doing all season, but I have to think there is going to be plenty of room to run. And as much as I have Tony Pollard as a top 12 option this week, I think Bijan has to take advantage of this cake matchup. So I'll go with him. And then your last one, Hurts or Daniels. All right. I have them 3-4 this week. I downgraded Daniels because I really believe Baltimore's coaching staff is smart to put a safety over the top. And unlike Cleveland that rushed him up the middle last week, you got to rush him from the outside to keep him in the pocket. That's my assumption. I could be wrong. Baltimore has been blowing coverages. Now they're doing it against really good offenses like Jamar Chase. They were, blowing coverages there. Kansas City might not be the case here. So I think that Hurts has a safer floor here. But if Jaden Daniels if he can do what he did at Baltimore against these bad defense he played in the past, then obviously he's the upside play of the week because he always is. I would feel safer with Jalen Hurts. That would be my call. And both have upside. So I think the safer floor of Hurts makes me go that way. All right, Vinny, morning to you as well. Tolbert, Olave, or McConkey. Spencer Rattler has an NFL arm. I'm going to say that. Tampa Bay's going to blitz him a lot. That's what Todd Bowles does. And I know they're going to blitz the rookie. But this year, Olave is not running those go routes. He's running ones that are more over the middle and quick slants. So, and Spencer Rattler said he's going to, load up Olave with targets. I believe him. He's smart enough to understand you get the ball to Chris Olave. I like Olave here. Tolbert, I think Detroit could run the ball down Dallas's throats to the point where they possess the ball for 40 minutes. Also, Dallas' offensive line is bad. Aiden Hutchinson could really hurt Dak Prescott's time to throw the ball. Last year's line was better. And McConkey, look, I don't know who McConkey is going to line up against defensively, but if he sees Patrick Surtain half of the time, he's done. And that leaves half in a game that's going to be low scoring. I am going to go with Olave here. Madison or Downs? Oh, it's a tough one. Yeah. So Madison was spelled in the second half by Amir Abdullah. Abdullah was playing like in the hurry up. He played almost every snap. That was problematic. So based on that, Madison could do well here. Downs, I'm worried about his quarterback. Very worried about his quarterback. I think Madison has a little safer floor because he's going to probably get you 8 to 10 touches. Probably gets you that. And if Downs doesn't get anything going to his quarterback, but I'd probably lean Downs here because Downs could get vertical from the slot. And if Richardson could hit one, there's your day. I don't think Madison has a high enough floor to make it justifiable. I'm going to lean Downs. Chargers or Texans? Texans. They blitzed Caleb Williams 44% of the time, rookie in week 2. I think we're going to see more of the same here. They're facing a rookie today. Drake May, I think they're going to send the house. And those receivers aren't going to beat you. And there's no Ramondre Stevenson. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Texans there. Mike, good morning. Thank you. Appreciate it. Kraft or Laporta? Yeah, that's tough, man. Again, with the Laporta thing, Laporta is the number 3 passing option. Jameson Williams ahead of him. Now, last year was the number 2. The running game, like I said, Dallas can't stop the run, and their middle linebacker, Eric Kendricks, is out. So that's even worse. He's their best run stopper, and he's gone. 3 of their front 7 guys are out. Is it more than that? It's Parsons is out, Lawrence is out, Nealon's out. I think they're going to run the ball. I don't think there's going to be a lot of passing. I could be wrong. If this game shoots out, then Laporta might be fine. I just don't think. I think Kraft's the way to go. I think in this game against Arizona, there's a lot of points. Kraft's getting heavy targets the last 2 weeks. Wicks has been dropping the ball at receiver, so I think I go Kraft there. And then running back Harris, Gibson, Moss. I'm going to go with Gibson there. I think I don't know if Drake May's going to dump to him, but I have to think he's going to at some point. And if Gibson catches 4 or 5 passes, and if there's a blitz coming, like I expect from oh my gosh, why am I bonk? I said his name earlier, and from the Texans. So if they're going to blitz, I think Gibson could get a long reception on a screen. So I'm going to give him the edge there. Moss, good floor play, good floor play. Harris, well, Warren's supposed to be back, and that's a problem because Harris has an easy matchup, but he has been terrible. Not his fault. The offensive line for Pittsburgh is all beat up. They're not getting any push, and they're not using the tight ends. I thought they'd be using like 3 tight end sets. They haven't been doing that with Arthur Smith this year. So I'm going to go that way. And then your last one, you need pick AJ Brown. No matter who you have in there, AJ Brown. AJ Brown's my number 2 receiver this week. Yeah, AJ Brown all day, every day. Lindorphins, happy Sunday to you. Half PPR. Addison is on a bye this week. Oh, rest of season. Okay. Addison, Worthy, Pittman, rest of season. I have to rank them Addison number 1 because, again, all the Jefferson attention is going to leave Addison open, as we've seen, and he's going to be healthier after that bye. And then I would put Pittman number 2. I'm worried about his quarterback, but I think the targets are going to be Worthy. The problem's going to be targets. He just isn't going to see enough targets. He's the number 3. Especially in half PPR. He'll get those big plays 3 times a season, maybe 4, but you won't know what weeks those are going to be. Jeff, 3 of 4. Tight end, 2 flex. All right, so I answered the Kraft Laporta for somebody else. So I'm going to stick with Kraft there on this one. And then you need 2 flexes, Slayton, Madison, or Laporta. You know what? Again, Madison's floor isn't high enough. It's really hard to project him for a touchdown. And he was their goal line back. Are they going to get it there, right? Are they even going to get the ball down there? And that's a real question with the Raiders. So I'm going to go with Slayton and Laporta there. I'm going to use the 2 tight ends. That's how I'm going to look on that one. The Raiders scare me against Pittsburgh. They do. I don't know how much they're going to move the ball here. All right, Kevin, more in you as well. 2 from the following in a PPR. Dobbins, Irving, Pollard, Higgins, Mooney. You need 2 of them. I have Pollard as a top 12 running back this week. He has been very good. There's a very, very good matchup this week. Indianapolis is still, the Forrest Buckner still gone. They've been really struggling against the run. So I'm going to give Pollard the whirl there. And I'm going to go T. Higgins next. Kayvon Thibodeau is out. The pass rush from the Giants takes a significant hit without him. And I know on his own he hasn't been a wrecker, but the combination of the pass rushers really needs him. And who caught the ball there? Oh, Evan Ingram, another Evan Ingram. But Evan Ingram fumbled the ball to the Bears. And I'm sorry, I'm doing a narration here. The Bears are running the ball down to the 40-yard line. Wow. First couple plays at half, and the Bears got a turnover. I like the Bears betting them in this game. All right, let's get back to it here. All right, so I do like Higgins here. I don't think there's going to be much of a pass rush, and those corners aren't scary. And I think since he's going to put up some points here, so I'm going to go with those 2. And then you've got kickers. I don't do. Kickers are all luck, and I'm the unluckiest person I play. I give you rationale all day, but for a kicker, I can't. So I would just say find the higher over and under and kind of go with that. But kickers, it's all luck. You don't want me on a luck call. You want me on a skill call. You don't want me on a luck call. Unite Santini, Moss, Brown, or Kirk. Pick 2. Kirk played already. He's already at halftime of his game, so he's out. So your decision is done. If you started Kirk, I would go Brown over Moss because it'll the enhanced explosiveness over Moss. Pittman, Algier, or Freiermuth, PPR. I'm the quarterback scares me, but apparently Pittman's clear of this injury, so Pittman has to get targets here. I think Pittman has the highest floor of the group, so I'm going to go with Pittman there. Freiermuth just has that. He scored a couple times, but there's like no ceiling. And Algier, like I said, if Bijan gets going in this game, they may not have to focus so heavily on him. Kevin, 3 from the following: Mixon, Dobbins, Spears, A. Brown. AJ Brown, I'm thinking, unless I'm missing somebody, but I don't know if that's what we're saying. Hopefully you meant AJ Brown, but I can't have time to overthink it. Higgins, Mooney, or Kirk. Kirk already played. You got 3.5 PPR. So I'm going to go with, look, Mixon's back. Got to play him. Got to play Mixon in this one. Got to go to AJ Brown, and again, I like T Higgins there. Reynaldo, good morning. Laporta or Kincaid rest of schedule. Kincaid is probably still the second option in the passing game. So I'm going to give Kincaid the slight edge there. Dell or Brees today? Yeah, I mean, can Dell get over the top against New England? The free safety, Jabril Peppers is out, so maybe. But teams are really playing a too high shell and making him win underneath, and that's really, really limiting Tank Dell. I'm going with Brees. Brees has been terrible 2 weeks in a row. If Todd Downing does 3 play actions or 3 motion plays, it's more than they had, and they're dangerous at that point. So at that point, I have to take a chance here. I got to go with Brees Hall. Lindorphins, if Pittman plays today, roll with him or Slayton. You know what? If Pittman plays today, go with him. He should see enough targets to have a high floor. I know the matchup's not great, but he's a very good underneath receiver, and I do think he should be able to be fine there. Slayton's your boom bust play though. If you got to shoot for ceiling in your game, then go ahead. But Slayton always has a low floor because ultimately Daniel Jones may not connect to him. Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback. There are weeks he works and weeks he doesn't. So again, Pittman's safer. Slayton's your boom bust. Delroy, half PPR start too. London, Robinson, Wicks, Flowers. So I'm starting Drake London for sure. He has 25 targets in the last 2 weeks, and every week he's getting better with his quarterback. Here's the thing I'm leaving Wicks out because he's only caught like 30% of his passes this year, 5 drops. It's just, and he's off. He's not on the same page with his quarterback. Like Love just is missing him on some throws. I think there's a chemistry issue right now. So it's between Wandale and Flowers. Here's the deal. If you think, like I do, that Baltimore's going to run the ball down Washington's throats, Washington plays nickel as their base, and they don't come out of it. Well, that's what Dan Quinn did in Dallas. The team just ran it down their throats. Well, that's what Baltimore wants to do. In the 2 games Baltimore ran, Zay Flowers had 2 for 30 and 1 for 10. So if that's the game script, it's nobody's getting pass catches. If you think that somehow the Commanders push a shootout and Baltimore's not going to run, then Flowers is fine. That said, Wandale has a high floor. I'm going to go with Wandale here. But again, if you think somehow the Ravens are not going to be able to run the ball, which I think that's like 95%, like they're going to run. But if you think there's a world where they don't, then they're going to pass. And in that case, Flowers would be fine. Delray, Ferguson, Tolbert, Wicks, Kraft. Ferguson for sure. He has a really, really high floor almost every week. The thing with starting 2 Dallas guys, like I've said earlier, Detroit might run the ball so effectively. They might hold the ball for 40 minutes. And then the pass rush from Hutchinson, the Cowboys line is not good. So I don't know how much there's going to be for Tolbert. Tolbert's boom bust. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to play Ferguson. If you got to swing for the fence and you hope that game shoots out, then Tolbert's your play. Otherwise, Kraft is your floor play because he's been for a couple weeks and going now a very, very stable part of the offense. So he should get you a floor, whereas Tolbert's floor could be 2 points. If this game works out the way the Lions can do it. So, all right, that's it. Delroy, Muth, Conklin has some injury. I imagine he's going to play, but with the uncertainty, and it's a Monday night game, I'm just going to say Freiermuth and call it a day. He's had a floor every week, and there's that. If I knew Conklin was completely healthy, I'd endorse him here because he has like, I don't know, he has a lot of targets in the last 2 weeks. On the top of my head, I can't remember. A lot of targets the last 2 weeks. And I imagine that's going to continue. But right now, based on him less than 100%, give me Muth. Morning, John Brown. Morning. Let's see here. Full PPR. Garrett Wilson, Deontay Johnson, or Austin Eckler in the flex. Man, Garrett Wilson took 22 targets to get to 100 yards last week. That was problematic. DeAndre Swift with a screen. Gets down inside the 10. Man, the Bears are rolling here. So glad I bet them in this game. All right. Let's see what we got here. Deontay Johnson. I think Deontay Johnson is going to get a lot of catches against Atlanta underneath. AJ Terrell is not probably going to stop those underneath routes. There's a much friendlier matchup than Deontay had last week. I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson. I think his floor is high. I think his ceiling's high. Garrett Wilson's had 1 good game, but it took 22 targets to get there. And Buffalo is a tougher matchup. The coaching change, does that make a difference? I don't know. Garrett Wilson always has upside for something special. So just understand that, but he hasn't really done it. Like I said, 22 targets to get to 100 yards. That's kind of tough. So I would probably lean Deontay. John, Shaheed, Deontay. We're going to go back to Deontay Johnson there as well. Shaheed with with Radler, there's gonna be the blitz a lot, and I don't know if the downfield passes are gonna be there today. That might be a problem. So I'm gonna go Deontay there. And John, you're welcome. Appreciate you as well. J Red, should I keep Charbonnet or drop Otten or Michael Wilson? All right, so you keep Charbonnet or drop Charbonnet for. I'm trying to understand this question. I really don't. I'm just confused. It's not your question. It's me. I'm just going to rank them this way. I'm going to rank them Charbonnet 1, Michael Wilson 2, Otten 3. If that helps you, that's fine. I don't know. I'm sorry. I should understand the question, but for some reason I don't. It's not you. It's me. Daniels or Burrow. I look. I do see a world where Daniels implodes here. But there's also a world where the Bengals run the ball with success in this game. And maybe I have Burrow as a good quarterback. So I have him as quarterback 6. I have Daniels the quarterback 4. I see Daniels with potential downside if Baltimore plays this game, right? Come on, Caleb. Caleb, did he get it in? Trying to see who he threw to. Someone's tackled at the 1. All right. Oh, it was Roshan. No, it wasn't. It was Keenan Allen. Imagine that. All right. Back to your question. So Daniels is your boom bust play. He has a sky high ceiling every week, but I do think that Baltimore could really take a lot away from him. Burrow's safer. I think Burrow is safer. So you want the layup, but there may not be the same upside like he had last week because they may be able to be balanced. That's what I'm saying. So Burrow's solid, safe. Daniels is your super high upside, but I think there's risk this week. Mixon or Tyrone Tracy. Tracy has another easy matchup, and I'm going to give him that. But Joe Mixon's tough because if they get the ball near the goal line, he's got to be healthy. They've sat him out a long time, so there's that. So I'm going to go with Mixon. I'm not going to bench my stud for Tyrone Tracy. Pollard or Brees Hall. Jay-Z, just like I told somebody earlier, I love Pollard's matchup this week. I have to think the coaching change, they have to do something a little. If they make any type of adjustment, any type, Brees Hall's a superstar. But if you don't feel safe, Pollard's a great play this week. And another touchdown, and who got it? Keenan Allen right back to him. So, wow, Caleb Williams lighting it up today for fantasy. 3 touchdown passes, run for over 50 yards. Wow, Caleb Williams on the map. All right. So I am going to say Brees Hall, but if your gut says Pollard, trust it. Trust it because Pollard's been playing very, very well. His matchup is very easy. And Brees Hall has not gotten it done. He had touchdowns the first 3 weeks. Don't forget that. And he had 5 or 6 catches, I think, in his first 3 games. So even the last 2 games were bad. Before then, he was playing well. So I'm giving Hall the edge. But again, trust your gut on that one. Deontay Johnson Mixon or Deontay Johnson. That's close. That's real close. Mixon has a better chance of scoring a touchdown, so I give him a 52-48 edge in that one. Dr. Roberto, able to trade for Brees. Do you start him over Chuba Hubbard this week? Man, so Chuba Hubbard, again, volume is king in fantasy football. The matchup against Atlanta is middling. It's not a bad matchup. It's not a great matchup, but he gets pass catches, he gets rushes, he gets red zone work. But I'm not going to play Brees over him. I'm going to play Brees. I'm going to play Brees over him. I'm going to play Brees because, again, the coaching change, I have to think they do 1 or 2 things differently. And that's all it's going to take for Brees Hall to do what Brees Hall does. But I get it. All right. You also have David Montgomery. Wow. Yeah, they all are must starts. It's a good problem to have. You got 3 great running backs. And Montgomery could go off in this game as well. So, and this is my bias. It's because Brees Hall has seen targets the last 2 weeks, right? Because of all those targets he's seen, that he puts him in a different stratosphere as those other players. So trust your gut on that one. I'm stubbornly going to keep going back to Brees Hall. I downgraded my rankings to running back 7 this week, but he's still ahead of the others. Baker or Hurts. Baker's probably going to be under some pressure in this game. And I've identified Baker as the quarterback. When he doesn't get pressure, he's a top 6 fantasy option. When he gets pressure, he's going to be outside the top 12. I think he's getting pressure this week. So I put him outside my top 12 this week. At 12. I put him at 12. But with the buys, he would have been just outside. So I'm putting him just outside there. So, yeah, I have Hurts well ahead of him this week. Garrett Wilson or Devontae Smith, full PPR. I'm going to probably give Garrett Wilson the edge here. Cleveland plays man. a lot of man. I think Garrett Wilson gets more targets. Ultimately, more targets is why I'm going to lean to him. Spears or Madison? Appreciate you, Julian. Uh, Spears and Madison. I have Madison ranked higher. If they get the ball in the red zone, which I don't know if they will, he's their goal line option. But like I said, last week Abdullah came in when they were trailing, and I think they trail here. So I think Spears in a rotational role in a very good matchup. It's hard to say this, but I'm going to give Spears a brief edge. I do have Spears at 31 and Madison at 30. Oh, that's hilarious. I got them right next to each other. But I think in your situation, I would probably just go with Spears because I think his floor might be higher. Madison could have like 6 carries for 2 yards. We could see that. George, full PPR, Mixon or Irving. Both will see volume. I think Mixon has a better chance of scoring a touchdown. So I'm going to give Mixon the edge here. Also, I think that Irving's matchup is not great against New Orleans. And I think that makes a difference. Whereas Joe Mixon, New England, their defense is gutted. They have lost a lot of playmakers. Shook saying good morning to you as well. Full PPR, Dobbins, Mixon, or Irving. I'm going to go Mixon there. Dobbins is going to have a tough matchup here. And remember, the last 2 games, Dobbins had tougher matchups and really struggled. Denver's a really good defense right now. And I know they're getting some linemen back. And the Chargers, they might get both. I don't know if Slater, I think Alta's back for sure. I'm not sure Slater might be back, but I still think that Denver is going to be crowding the line. And I'm just going to go with Mixon here. Irving, again, nice play, but I think the matchup's not great. Tolbert or Slate, no, that's a tough one. They're both boom bust guys. I think that the Giants are going to have better time of possession than the Cowboys. And I think they're going to have more opportunity to take some deep shots because I think their line has been holding up better than Dallas's line. I'm going to give Slayton a slight edge here. I think that Dallas time of possession. I'm really worried about Dallas and time of possession in this game. Trevor Lawrence now 21-3, getting ready to chuck it. Nope, he's running. And he's not running for very much. All right. Master J3, good morning. Wicks or Downs? Oh, that's a tough one, too. Kyler Gordon down with an injury. Oh, that's not good. Hopefully he's okay. All right. Wicks catching about 30% of his pass attempts. It's a great matchup, but it just hasn't been going on. I don't know if Christian Watson's playing. I haven't gotten any final word on what his status is, so that makes it a little dicey. I'm probably going to go with Josh Downs. I don't like the quarterback change from Flacco to Richardson just because Flacco completely targets Downs. I'm going to give Downs the edge here. Wandale or Pickens? Man, I know Pickens had a rough week last week, and now is he in the doghouse? That's a real question. But the matchup for Pickens is just too good. And Wandale has a higher floor. Wandale is going to catch quite a few passes here. So I think I'd like the floor play here. And I don't know that Pickens has a vast ceiling. They haven't really unlocked him. And so, yeah, I guess I'm going to go with Wandale because he's gotten it done for PPR every week. I'm going to go with him. Marvin Harrison or Mike Evans, that's close because the biggest game I believe Mike Evans has had against Marshawn Lattimore is 64 yards, and they play twice a year, and that's the biggest game he's had. And he's had a lot of no touchdown games. I think he had a 2 for 7 with 2 touchdowns one year, so there was that. I'm going to give Harrison the edge here. Just Evans, that's a historically tough matchup for Evans, so I'm going to give Harrison in a soft matchup the edge here. Baker or Daniel Jones? Wow. I have Daniel Jones ranked 16. I have Mayfield ranked 12. You could totally make a case for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is boom or bust because he could have a big game, but he's Daniel Jones. He could also have the implosion game. So Baker will have a higher floor than Daniel Jones. If you just want the safe layup, Baker probably gets you 15 fantasy points, maybe 16. Daniel Jones could be anywhere from 11 to 27. So if you want to shoot for the ceiling and risk the floor, go with Jones. Otherwise, you want it safe, just go with Baker. Rick, yeah, I love is in a potential shootout spot here. They might be able to run the ball though too in this game, so there's that. Daniels has been one of the best quarterbacks we've had. Downfield shot, broken up. Went for Brian Thomas. Not Brian Thomas, Mike Stroh. Maybe he'll still have a good game here, but Bears defense is tough against the pass. All right, so it's gonna be hard for you to sit Daniels. You'll be really upset if he goes off. I do think Baltimore though comes into the game plan. Nobody really has kept him in the pocket. Nobody's put a shell over the top. and McLaurin's 8. If they do that, then Daniels could have a real rough game. But he's Jaden Daniels, and he's been Superman so far. So bench him at your own peril. I definitely get that. Love is safer. Love has a safer floor. But Daniels always has ridiculous hugs. He can get done as a runner. Maybe they limit him, and even if the Baltimore boat race him, maybe he runs for 80 yards in the second half. So bench Daniels at your own peril. Foxborough News, half PPR, need a flex. Eckler, Dowdler, or Olave. I'm going to give Olave the edge here. Rattler has said he's going to get the ball to Olave. I believe him. The routes this year are not go routes; they're more in breakers. That's going to be there against the blitz. Olave's going to have an opportunity. Olave's better in those corners. I'm going to give Olave the edge here. Godwin or Mooney. Mooney's been great the last 3 weeks. He's just been absolutely great. There's a chance against Carolina that, and I've said this, that as much as I love them and I love their offense, I'm concerned this week because they might be able to have success on the ground or something they haven't had all year. And if they do, they might not have to pass a lot. Godwin, because of the Marshawn Lattimore on Mike everything, I think Godwin could flirt with 10 targets here. I'm giving Godwin the edge because I think he has a higher floor this week. Forever Student. PPR, Tolbert, Tracy, Wicksheed. I'm giving Tracy the edge here because I think he has the best combo of floor and ceiling. Cincinnati, they did well against Derrick Henry because they overstacked the box to stop him. They're not going to stack the box to stop Tyrone Tracy. They're not worried at all about him. So they're going to go. I think Tracy has the highest floor ceiling combo of this. Steve, need to sit one. Mooney, Smith, Flowers, Pickens. If you think like I do that Baltimore's going to run the ball down Washington's throats. The 2 games they ran the ball down their opponent's throats. Pick Flowers has like a 1 for 10 and a 2 for 20 or something like that. There are just no targets to go around. If you think that Washington is somehow going to stop that run game, then Flowers will go off because he has no competition against that secondary. If you're not going to sit Flowers, you'd sit Pickens. I would personally make the sit of Flowers because I believe Baltimore's going to run the ball in the 2 games they did. There was nothing left for any pass catchers. Pick 3, Mixon, Gibson, Tracy, Trey Tucker. The problem with Trey Tucker is going to be he's a downfield guy, and Pittsburgh, even without Alex Highsmith, they got TJ Watt. They're going to bring a lot of heat on a struggling Raiders line. And I don't know how much downfield is going to be there. And look, Trey Tucker, because there's no other receivers, he might see Joey Porter a lot, and he might not be able to get off the press with him. So I'm just going to go with the running backs there. Steve, Shakir. It appears he's trending to playing. It does appear he's trending toward playing. So I would say so. And all your players are Sunday. I mean, he's appeared to play. So I would play him over all those options. I don't even know how healthy Jaylen Warren is. If I knew Jaylen Warren, I mean, he's declared to play, and it's a very good matchup for him against the Raiders. But the word that I'm getting is he's going to play. So I mean, if you're worried about Shakir, if you don't want to take any risk, then I might go with Jaylen Warren from that group because back in the lineup, it's a cake match. And Najee's been bad. Tank Bigsby to the outside, runs down to the 3. All right, let me see if there's any injury news here. Marlon Humphrey expected to play. We kind of knew that. That's still older news. All right, so we'll wait. We still have a few minutes till the inactive start coming through. All right, KJ Frederick, better start in the flex. Evans or Zach Moss? I'm still going with Evans there. I'm still going to go Evans there. Evans can score a red zone touchdown. Zach Moss is decent floor, and matchup's not bad at all. But I think if he tries to run inside, Dexter Lawrence could slow him down a little bit. So I'm going to go with Evans there. I'm not going to overthink that one, but it's tough. I get the question. Chris, Sutton, Downs, Dell, Braylon, Allen. I like Sutton this week. Because Denver's down, their top corners on the injured reserve, their free safeties out. They are really banged up in the secondary, and I think Joey Bosa's not going to play. That seems to be the trend. And if he doesn't play, the pass rush isn't going to be there. Gabe Davis caught the touchdown this time. Nice. All right, so it's 21-10, assuming they go for 1. All right. So I'm going to go with I'm going to trust Sutton in this one. I like Sutton in that matchup. Dylan, need help. Full PPR. Pierce, Wicks, Bateman. Sorlene, wait a minute. Pierce. The Bateman one, it's all going to be, like I said, if Baltimore runs the ball down their throats, they're not going to pass, and that's going to hurt Bateman a lot. Alec Pierce is, you got to count on the deep pass, but he really has been cashing this year. I would be inclined to consider Pierce over Bateman because I think they're going to not have to throw the ball much in that game. So that's the way I'd look at it. Thomas, Tolbert, Sutton, or Olave. I'm going Olave here. I like Sutton, but I think Spencer Rattler does get Olave close to 10 targets in this game. JD, happy football Sunday. Singletary is out this week. So, yes, he is out. So, and who do you play? Harrison or T. Higgins? I'm going to go T. Higgins. The target volume has been insane for him, and there's nothing daunting about this matchup against the Giants. Higgins, I think he's got more targets than Chase the last 2 to 3 games. That's crazy to think, but he's getting them, and Kayvon Thibodeau's out, hurts their pass rush. So I would tend to lean toward Higgins. Harrison hasn't had the big game since week 2. Steve, Rashid Shaheed or Jalen Tolbert. That's a tough one because the blitz is going to be coming from Todd Bowles. I know that. And Rattler, I think, is really going to hone in on Olave in this one. Tolbert, again, it's very boom bust because I think Detroit could really dominate the clock here. But there is a chance. Dallas will probably be trailing, so they're probably going to have to throw some. I give Tolbert a 51-49 edge. I think I have Shaheed ranked higher in my rankings. But I think Tolbert has upside. If Detroit doesn't get crazy on the ground, then there's real upside for Tolbert. I don't know that Shaheed has upside in this game. Zach Ertz or Cade Otton. I think Ertz hit 8 targets and only caught a couple passes last week, but Otton's been heavily targeted the last 2 weeks. With Mike Evans facing Lattimore, maybe there's more for Otton. I'm going to give Otton a slight edge here. Jonathan, start one between. Oh, I got some super chat questions. I'm sorry, I just saw this here. It pops up here so small. Let me answer these super chat. I'll give it to Jonathan. All right, sorry about that. I got Scott, James Cook, or Antonio Gibson. So it looks like Cook's playing. Gibson, we have no idea what's going on here. We have no idea if Drake May's going to look to run or to dump it off. I hope he dumps it off. I said it earlier. I hope he dumps it off, but I don't know that he's going to do that. And if he doesn't do that, Gibson's probably not going to get outdone as a runner. I'm going James Cook here. And then Ethan, Gibson, or Sermon. Sermon has Tennessee's decent against the run. And Sermon, we saw, he got some love late last week, and it worked out. I think Gibson gets more touch because last week Tyler Goodson saw about 40% of the snaps with Sermon. I think Gibson sees more touches. And so I'm going to give Gibson a slight edge there over Sermon. OG Bobby, Cousins or Goff. So both Goff and Cousins could run into the problem where their teams have success on the ground and they don't need to pass. I think it's more likely that Cousins throws more. Goff has had some real low pass attempts. You look back at 18 pass attempts in the last game, real low pass attempts. And they might not have to throw a lot against Dallas. They might just run so successfully. I'm going to give Cousins the edge here. Bucky or Trey Sermon. And I think, again, Bucky will have more volume than Sermon. And I think that's where you're looking. Volume's king in fantasy football. And then Fabian. And DeAndre Swift bouncing out for about 8 yards on the ground. 21-10 Bears. 5 left in the third. All right. You need one in the flex. You need one flex in the defenses. Javonte, Slayton, Olave, or Wicks. I keep going back to Olave. I do expect him to get a lot of targets. I think Rattler has an NFL arm. I expect him to be able to get his ball to a star receiver, maybe better than Derek Carr. And then Broncos or Eagles. Broncos. Broncos are like, I know the Eagles are playing Cleveland, and a lot of things could happen. But I think the Broncos are bankable, and the Broncos have an easy matchup too. There is nothing like worrisome about facing the Chargers. And so I'm going to go with them. They're playing very aggressively, and I'm going to go with them. All right, get back to my questions here. See if I can find exactly where I was at. This is always, oh, there we go. Let me see here. I got to find where the questions were. Come on. Whenever I go back and forth between the super chat and this, the questions get lost. Here we go. I think Jonathan, I was on Jonathan. All right. Start one between Wandale and Zach Moss. I'm going Wandale. Floor ceiling combo is better to me. Najee or Javante. Javante is playing well the last 2 weeks. Najee is playing terribly, and Jalen Warren is back. I'm giving Javante. Javante gets more targets. Javante gets significant targets. Albert, good morning to you. John, Garrett Wilson more than Terry McLaurin. Again, I'm assuming, maybe I'm an idiot. I'm assuming that Baltimore's watched tape. Oh, we got to put safety over the top. Oh, we can't rush Jaden Daniels from the inside. We got to rush him from the outside and keep him in the pocket. If they do those two things, I just don't see how they get a passing game because Baltimore stops the run. And that's the one thing. Washington runs the ball so well. Well, they don't have Brian Robinson, and Baltimore doesn't have to send extra defenders to stop the run. So in my mind, I think that, Washington's offense is in trouble this week. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. I think the target volume's higher. I'm going with Tyrone Tracy in this one. I think Eckler catches some passes, but Tracy has an easy matchup, and I think he's going to get significant volume. I think Eckler has a tough matchup. So that's the way I'm looking. All right, next one. Trying to make the climb back to 500. Baker or Daniel Jones? Yeah, somebody had the same question. Baker's your floor play. He's safer. Jones, if you want to swing for upside, he has real upside here, but he also has the implosion potential too. If Trey Hendrickson decides to go nuclear as a pass rusher. So that's your call there. Need two. Pollard, Irving, Algier, Chase, Brown. Pollard is a great matchup. He's playing great. And I am going to go with Irving as the second one because I think he gets more volume than Chase Brown. And like we always say, volume's king in fantasy football. So we'll go with that. And then what else you got here? Ayuk played on Thursday, so you're done there. Olave, Deontay, you need a receiver and a flex. So Deontay should have a high floor. He's back to having a decent matchup in Olave. I would go Deontay and Olave if you have 2 spots left. By the way, everybody, if you're just tuning in on the sheet, you see like red and green. Those are my rankings, but the red means I've established there could be a significant game script that could cause to downside for those players. And if they're in green, I do see a world where there's enhanced upside for those players. So that's why the red and the green are on there. All right, Steve, you need to sit McLaurin, Higgins, Deontay Johnson, Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams may not see as many targets. We noticed when Detroit's been running his targets. So now he had the 80-yard touchdown or 70-yard touchdown last week. So he was able to bail that out, which was phenomenal. See if Caleb Williams throws it away. Smart. Oh, there's a flag. First down, Bears probably. All right. So I think I'd say Jameson Williams because his floor is low. He could go off. He could absolutely go off. And again, you've heard me talk about the Ravens and what I expect they'll do. I could be wrong. But based on that, I'd go Higgins and Deontay Johnson. That's how I would go on it. Thanks for recommending. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Love if you're over on RotoWire Fantasy Football only YouTube. You could be watching this in a number of places, but on RotoWire Fantasy Football YouTube, we have videos going up all week. Hopefully you like our content. Love to have you over there. You want a free trial at RotoWire, 2 days, no credit card needed. Just go to rotowire.com/Jim. Again, check it out. If you like it, join the team. If not, we're just glad you took a look. All right, let's get to the next question here. McConkey or Wandale? McConkey is a really, really rugged matchup this week. Man, both Riley Moss and Patrick Surtain Surtain's a superstar, but Moss is playing great corner. I'm going to give Wandale the edge here. I think he has a lot of opportunities to do some good things. DeAndre Swift breaking another long run. Bears down to the 30. Chris, Gibson or Chuba? I got to go Chuba here. I'm hopeful for Gibson, but realistically, I don't know how much Jake May's going to dump it to me. May or may not. So Chuba safer. He has that high floor. Braylon Allen, Dell or Downs or Gibson. You know what? I keep saying that Tank Dell is struggling from the too high looks, but he might be their number 2 option in this game. I'm going to give Dell the edge here. It's risky, but the other players all have a lot of risk as well. So I'm going to go with Tank Dell there. Impossible. Let me see. Half PPR. Let me see this Bears play here. First down, Bears are on about the 30-yard line. Great to see the Bears playing well. All right. Back to this. All right. 1 running back, 1 receiver, a flex. They need 4 players. James Cook seems healthy, so he's in. Tracy, as of right now, will be your flex because he should get volume in a cake matchup. You need a receiver. I'm going to go Pittman over Tolbert because I think the floor is higher. And then you need a tight end, you said? Where are your tight ends? Oh, Ertz, Conklin, and Njoku, Henry, Gesicki. You know, if Conklin was 100% healthy in his Monday night game, I don't know if he is, I'm going to go with Njoku. They'll throw him some screens. He got hurt in the last game when he came back, but he's supposedly fine now. I'd go with Njoku. Abraham, I'd go with Chase Brown there. There's always room for him to roll because defenses play high shells and he's explosive, so he should get it done as a runner and receiver. Gibson, again, he should get work, but I just don't know what that equates to in this game. Hard to trust Drake May. He may look to run and not dump. We'll see. All right, John, hold on a second. All right, injuries, desperation. Need one of Goodson, Gray, Abdullah, Tucker, Hasty, or Foreman. I'd probably go with Goodson. Goodson played about 40% of the snaps last week. He saw targets. He saw rushing attempts. Sermon struggled for a while, and he came in. If Sermon struggles, Goodson it may have the best chance of covering a role. I know Abdullah was used in hurry-up mode last week, and there's definitely merit to that. But who could trust the Raiders coaching staff week to week to actually do that again? And I don't know that they will, so I probably would pass on that. All right, let's see the next one here. Giles, good morning to you as well. Hey, Giles, yeah, I think you dumped me a Twitter question. I'm glad you asked here because I can't do Twitter questions on Sunday, so thank you for showing up here. Good morning to you. Standard scoring, Trey Sermon or Javonte? I'm going to go Javonte Williams. He's been playing well the last 2 weeks. And Sermon, he got a couple carries later, but he didn't look very good. DJ Moore got hurt a little bit. Hopefully it's nothing serious. All right. And impossible. Who do I want to drop? Don't have a tight end. Brown, Tracy, Eckler, Kirk, Pittman, Tolbert. Of those, it's hard to say to drop any of them, but I'd be most in. If you're not going to start Tracy this week, my guess is Singletary's back next week, and Tracy's had some cake like last week was a cake matchup, so I don't know how much. So I think long term, Tracy may be the one on the short side of a timeshare, and that might not be great. But if you think there's a chance that Tracy could overtake Singletary, then I would probably dump Tolbert, as great as he's been. DeAndre Swift inside the 10. All right, Sleek, Josh Downs, Trey Sermon, or Kelvin. I'm going to go with Ridley here. Ridley hasn't done much, but the matchup could not be better against Indy. They're not rushing the passer. They're not covering. I did hear the coaching staff. They want to get him more involved coming out of the bye. I'd give Ridley a whirl there. Steven. Oh, I got another super chat question. I'll get back to Steven. All right. Thomas C. Super. Well, hopefully I find a question from you, and then I will get that. But so I see it. But thank you. All right. Looking for thoughts on my flex spots. You need Pickens, Chase Brown, Najee Harris. I think the best floor of this is Chase Brown. Pickens he had that 113-yard game, which was great, but there's something missing there. There's something missing with the passing game, and the matchup's great. Brown is a high floor, and I would trust that. And I don't know, they both, Brown and Pickens, probably have similar ceilings. Harris right now, Warren's back, so that worries me. I'd give Chase Brown the edge. If your gut says Pickens, play Pickens, though. Steven, also have Downs. I don't know. I can't remember the other. Let's see here. Downs, Bigsby. Bigsby already played. No, that won't change anything there. Dowdle has a bad matchup. Steve, tight end premium league. Otten or Conklin? Because Conklin is injured and I don't know his full status for a Monday night game, I'm going to go with the player who's playing healthy today, and that's going to be Otten. And then you need either one of Downs, James. And I said earlier, Jameson Williams is boomer bust because if they run a lot, he might not get the targets, but he only needs like one catch to get it done. And if they somehow have to throw, he could go off against Dallas. So I would go with Jameson Williams there. All right, let's see if there's any inactive news that we need to cover here before we get to the rest of these questions here. All right, we knew Matt Prater, the kicker, was out, so if you got him for Arizona, get out. Kendre Miller's inactive. We thought he would be back this week. He is not. Very interesting. Lucas Patrick is also out for the Saints, so their three best interior linemen are out against the blitz-happy Bucks. A lot of quick passes to Olave today. The Browns, let's see, anybody, nothing special there. We knew Ramondre Stevenson was going to be out already, so that was declared. Josh Downs is playing. He will be in the lineup today. We knew Brian Robinson would be out, so that's nothing new there. Rashad White, as expected, who was doubtful, is out for the Buccaneers, so we will get a good workload in this game for his backup. And what Bucky Irving should do very well on 20-ish touches today, probably. Michael Pittman, we knew he's playing. He definitely is playing. Not that it matters, but Robert Woods is inactive. We knew that, but Robert Woods was the replacement for Dell. Xavier Hutchinson was replacement for Nico Collins. Obviously Xavier Hutchinson is nowhere in the stratosphere of Nico Collins, but if you're in a deep league and you're desperate for a wide receiver fill in at the last minute, I would consider giving Hutchinson a whirl. You could get 40 yards out of him in this game. I wouldn't surprise me at all. Oh, wait a minute. Whoa, back up, everybody. Joe Flacco is starting against the Titans today. So everybody with the Josh Downs questions, get Josh Downs in your lineup. Josh Downs is now, he goes way, way, way up the rankings. Josh Downs is probably a wide receiver too. So get Josh Downs way up your lineup. And Joe Flacco is a fantasy starter for you today. That is huge news. All right. Christian Watson is active. That hurts Dontavian Wicks, who's been very inefficient. And yeah, wow, Richardson be the emergency third. Wow, third quarterback. And as I'm trying to work, I haven't seen the Bears game, but ETN was questionable return with a hamstring. Wow, this has been a season for him. Caleb Williams trying to throw for a touchdown, throws it up. Is it caught? Another Keenan Allen touchdown when he was on everybody's bench in fantasy. He scores 2 tutties, 4 touchdown passes for Caleb Williams today. All right, it looks like we're caught up on the injury news. To get back to some questions, let me just make sure there wasn't anything else updated here. That is incredible. Joe Flacco. Oh, here on Eagles, nothing special on the Eagles. All right, let's get back to some questions here. All right, let's see if Keenan Allen's foot was in. We'll find out in a minute. Let me just say, Keenan Allen grabs the ball, 1 foot down. Oh, no, we'll see on the second foot. It's iffy on the second foot. We'll see how that worked out. Hold the phone. Nope, kicker's out. Looks like we're fine. Wow, 4 tutties for Caleb Williams. Steve, all right, what do you got here? I think I answered that for you, right? Otten, we want Otten over Conklin. And then we went with JMO. Okay, so we're good there. Steven. All right, Darius Slayton or Xavier Legette. I am going to go with Slayton there. I think it's a high-scoring game. Legette is probably going to see a good deal of A.J. Terrell, and I don't know if there's going to be a good enough window where Andy Dalton's going to say, you know what, I'm throwing elsewhere. So I'm going to go with Slayton. Oh, I got another super chat question. Then I got to come back to Mini Jordan after that. Chris, half point need one. Wandale, Dowdle, or Chase Brown? Wandale has just been so money, but it's half point. So that negates a bit of his effectiveness. Against Cincy, I think they're going to have to score a lot of points. And I think Wandale is going to get like 7 or 8 catches in this game. That when Chase Brown's the safest floor play, I think he's a very safe floor play. The matchup is very good for him. I think Wandale is a very similar floor. I would give probably Chase Brown the slight edge here. I'd give him a slight edge here based on matchup. But teams are playing so high on the shell that Brown's doing a lot of damage with his looks. Very hard to sit Wandale, but I'm going to give, again, a very slight edge to Chase Brown. If your gut says Wandale, go with it. All right, let's see where I'm at here now. I was here. Steven, I answered yours there, so we're good there. Mini Jordan. Tucker, Shaheed, or McConkey. Man, McConkey has 2 rugged cornerbacks and probably a bad pass rush against them. Shaheed, as a quarterback that might not have time to throw deep. Trey Tucker is going to potentially see a cornerback situation with Joey Porter where he's in trouble if that's what he's going to see some of the time. I think McConkey may have the best floor of this group. So I would probably lean to McConkey. I just don't think the downfield shots for Shaheed are going to be there with as much as Todd Bowles blitzes. Chris Tolbert's like, yeah, that's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. My line is that I think Detroit dominates the clock and Dallas doesn't run a ton of plays. For that reason, I'm giving Slayton an edge. Allen or Murray, yeah, I know it's come to that, right? I put Allen as my quarterback too because he's still Josh Allen, but man, he's not been a good fantasy player the last couple games. Kyler Murray, I think Kyler Murray's safer. I think Kyler Murray is safer. You hate to have Josh Allen go off your bench, but I mean, the Green Bay, they can't stop mobile quarterbacks. Rashawn Gary doesn't. He comes in and he doesn't like seal the edge. I'm giving Murray the edge here. I have Allen ranked higher because he's Josh Allen. I can't rank him lower than much of the quarterback 3 ever. But I have Murray at 5. I think Murray has more upside. I don't see that Jets in Bills game being a lot of points. Now, Josh Allen might go off for 4 touchdowns because he's Josh Allen. That's the risk you take. I think Murray's safer. Volmaniac, morning to you as well. Appreciate you. Full PPR. Running back and a flex. Bucky, Gibson, Gumbawale, but he'll be kind of irrelevant. Mixon and Damian Pierce back. Wandale and Mooney. So I am going with Bucky Irving as my running back because he has the best path to volume. Tank Bigsby fumbled the kickoff. They're all piled up. Looks like the Bears might have it. We'll see soon. Wow. All right. So I'm going to go Bucky Irving as my running back there, and you need a flex. I'm going to go with, all right. So, man, Mooney has been so good. I still think it's more likely the Giants have to throw the ball, whereas I think we could see a lot of balance from Atlanta in this game. I'm going to give Robinson the edge for the floor, but Mooney's been phenomenal. Pitts or Freiermuth? Freiermuth, I think he's had at least 7 PPR points in like every game. I think because of that floor, I think I just go with him. Kraft or Ford? Fast Eddie, Ford, it seems to be way more bankable. Kraft's been great, but I know Ford's probably going to get 10 carries. I know he's probably going to get 5 targets. I think he's safer. And I know Kraft had a big game last week. I just don't know that Kraft has a big ceiling every week. And so because of that, I'm going to say Ford is safer, and I would recommend the safe play there. All right, Fast Eddie, Murray or Josh Allen. Somebody just asked that, so maybe it was you who asked it. I answered that just a minute ago. So Wandale, Dell, Olave, or Josh Downs. I am still going to Olave here. Olave's been my universal call today because Jacksonville did recover that fumble from Tank Dell. So I am going Chris Olave. I do think Spencer Rattler gets him the ball a ton. Olave is a superstar, and I think it might be better for him. All right. Next question. Do you play Wandale? My answer is going to be Olave today. I have Olave ranked as my wide receiver 13, and I don't have him listed as specific upside or downside. I have him like as a solid wide receiver 13. And I'm again, maybe I'm wrong as Spencer Rattler, but I do think he could get him the ball. Bears intercept Trevor Lawrence. Like I told people on the SiriusXM show this morning, I said, don't play Trevor Lawrence until he has 2 good games in a row. Last week's game was against the Colts. I go, he's been terrible for fantasy since last year. And right now, back to that guy. He had that 1 touchdown, beautiful, but not a good quarterback right now. He didn't read that player at all. Just jumped right in front of it. Wow. Trevor Lawrence is bad. All right, Max, thanks for the comments on the Sirius shows too. I really appreciate you hanging with us and following us. It means a lot. Start Lawrence and A-Rich. A-Rich is not playing today. Lawrence, hopefully you didn't start him yet in the London game this morning. So hopefully you can get – hopefully Flacco's on waivers. People were expecting Richard to start. If Flacco's still out there, grab him. And also CD drop 1. You know what? If that's your – if Flacco's not out there, I don't think if your league probably won't let you drop Lawrence right now because his game started. But if you can get Daniel Jones, I would play him over either because his matchup is so good. Caleb Williams on the throw back to Cole Kmet, another long play. My goodness, the Bears are just burying the Jaguars. All right, sorry, I'm getting into yellow football, don't we all? All right, need a receiver. Harrison, Thomas Jr. played already. Diggs. I like Diggs better than them all. Because he plays a slot, but there's no Nico Collins, and I think he's going to get a lot of targets here. I think he has the safest floor of that group. Mojo, you have Dowdle, Dobbins, Shakir, and Tolbert. Which was for the flex spot? Bears got a touchdown again. DJ Moore got in the end zone. Yes, because he didn't do anything today. So he needed that touchdown to cash for fantasy. So fortunately for DJ Moore, he comes through. Matter of fact, a little selfish here, but I got to check the box score on this real quick. Sorry, guys. I'll get right back here, but this is football going on. So DJ Moore in the end zone. Man, 5 touchdowns for Caleb Williams. I hope you guys listened to me when I told you to start him. I had him ranked pretty aggressively in the rank. I had my quarterback 10 this week. Very wheels up on him. So DJ Moore, oh wow, he was only 3 for 12 before then. Oh, they're gonna have a replay to see if he's in. Let's see if the knee is down. Look, no, he's his elbow is down. I don't think oh man, they're gonna overturn that on him. They're gonna overturn. Oh, that figures. It looked like DJ Moore's gonna cash for fantasy, and now it's gonna be a bust day. We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll get him. Yeah, second and goal. All right. Let's see what I answered here. So I'm going to take my chance on Shakir here. It sounds like he's going to play, so I'm going to go Khalil Shakir. So no 5 touchdowns for Caleb Williams. They're probably going to run the ball in a second and goal here. All right, next question. Do you go with McBride? Yeah, I'd go with McBride here. The matchup against Green Bay is very favorable. I think it's a shootout. Shaheed has the quarterback thing, and then Tolbert's going to have, if Detroit runs the ball down their throats, there's not going to be time of possession. Tolbert has the most upside of this group, but he also has Downton McBride's the safest blend of floor and ceiling for you. So there's that. All right. All right. Good morning to you as well. Chase Brown or Tracy in the flex? I think Tracy gets more volume, and the matchup is not scary at all. Either one's a great play. And I think that Tracy's going to get a lot of volume here. So I would give him the edge. Chase Brown will probably see fewer touches. Yes, because Shaheed has Spencer Rattler, and I know the Lattimore thing. I get that, but I'm still going to go with Mike Evans there. Chris, I'm going Bucky over Dowdle. Dowdle is a terrible matchup. And I'm going to go with Higgins in your flex. Higgins is getting a ton of targets. He's been playing real well. Bears ended up running in a touchdown. Eddie, I think you repeated a lot of questions. I don't know if you asked this one again, though. So Chase Brown over Dowdle for sure for me. Daniel Eckler, Dowdle, Olave, and Downs. I'm going Olave and Downs now that we know Joe Flacco is playing quarterback for the Colts today. Antoine Winfield is active. Titans, no surprises. Joe Mixon is active as expected. All right, this is good there. I'm going with James Cook here. The expectation is he's playing, so we're going with him there. I'm going to go with Joe Mixon here. It appears they held him out until he was healthy, and if he's healthy, I can't bench Joe Mixon. The expectation is he gets volume, and in that we've seen him in that offense, he's been dynamite. So I'm going to go with the better player here. Deontay or Bucky? I'm going with Deontay. He should see quite a few passes today. The matchup is far better than it was last week. Last week we faded Deontay last week. We're back in this week. Bill, we are going with Pittman now that we have Joe Flacco in the lineup. I think you asked that question already. Oh, you threw Pittman in there? Yeah, so you know what? Now that we have Joe Flacco in, I still might go McBride. But McBride hasn't had any big games. I'm probably gonna say McBride because I don't know if Pittman, because you have a good equal option. If Pittman does have a problem with that back, it could be an issue. So I think we'll just stay with that. Next question. Tyjae Spears versus Trey Sermon. Sermon should see more volume than Spears. And he now with Flacco, and that helps him. That helps Trey Sermon. So I'm going to go with Trey Sermon because Flacco's, and that makes a big difference. Fast Eddie, I looked at you repeated your quarterback question like 7 times. Just ask once and I get you, okay? And I think I asked that one already for you. So because of all the repeats, I think I got your question. So if I see them, I'm just going to pass over, assuming you asked it already multiple times. All right, Jason, need to start 2. Alec Pierce, Leggett, Polk, or Coleman? I know Pierce did well with Flacco last week, but he's not his primary read. So League is probably going to see a lot of AJ Terrell. Polk, not going to trust him at all with Drake May. I'm going to go Keon Coleman. Only one catch last week is a 49-yard touchdown. It's the Jets, though. Man, I can't even do that. I'm going to go to Alec Pierce. I'm going to go to Alec Pierce and hope he gets a long catch. I don't like the other setups for those other receivers. Pickens or Mooney. Man, it's really hard to say this, but Pickens had that 100-yard game, but Mooney has been better like the last 4 weeks. I think I'm going Mooney. They might run more, but so might Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go with Mooney there. Wow, I can't believe I said that, but Mooney's playing great. Both teams could have success on the ground. They might not need to pass. So start one in a flex. Javante's, Moss, and Sermon. I'm going to go Javante and Moss here. I think Moss is going to have a lot of room underneath. I think he could have a good chance at a goal line score here. Sermon has a little more downside, and I think both of your other two players have a better floor than Sermon. All right, Volmaniac. Yeah, I answered that already. Your running back's gonna be Bucky Irving for volume. Mooney and Wandale were like super close, but I think Mooney has more upside, so I'd probably go with Mooney. And then I go with Freiermuth because his floor has been more stable. Mark, that's close. That's close. I think Tracy's a better matchup than Bucky, so I'm going to go with Tracy. The matchup is way more favorable. Trevor Lawrence gets sacked. I think Doug Peters. They have another game in London. I don't think they're going to fire him until the next London game. I don't think they can fly a new coach out to. Well, they probably promote somebody. Oh yeah, Press Taylor. That's the answer. I think that Doug Peterson gets fired after their next London game next week. That'd be my guess. Who knows? Ford or Tracy? I'm going with Tracy here. Tracy has a better matchup, and they should see at least equal volume. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. It's an overthinker, but Cook sounds like he's going to play, though. It sounds like he's going to play. So I've got to go. I got to go with Cook here, right? He's been playing great, and if he scores 2 touchdowns, gets you 100 yards. I know it's the Jets, but you can run on the Jets, and that's the thing. The Jets' Achilles heel is a run D. I'm gonna go James Cook. Jeff, morning, appreciate you. I think they both have similar floors. I think Deontay Johnson is more of a ceiling. Last week, again, we faded him for the bad matchup. This week, there's nothing scary about the matchups. I think we go back to Deontay Johnson. John, Wicks, Kraft, Irving, Slayton need 2. Irving has the best floor of that entire group, so I'll go with him. Kraft is your next floor play. Wicks is in trouble. He's got like 30% of his passes. Christian Watson's back. I think he's back and Dobbs, I assume, is back in his role. So that puts Wicks back in a rotational role. So I think Kraft is your floor play as the second. But if you want to go boom bust on the second one, that'd be Slayton. Slayton could have a game against a defense in Cincinnati that is not very good. Yeah, Bobby, when I see it, I click it, but it's real small. Like where the super chat is like real small on the top of my screen. So I try to look up, but with the Bears game on, I was distracted by that a while too when these morning games are on. So yeah, but as soon as I see it, I answer them. But it's like tiny. It's like literally like that big in my screen where it comes up, and it's not like a different color or anything. And weird. Some weeks it shows up as an icon, but like today, nothing. So I don't even understand how that works. But I as soon as I see them, I do get to those. All right, Pete. I'm going to go with Higgins. Evans' history against Lattimore is long and vast, 64 yards, the most he's had in a game. Higgins is getting hyper targeted. I'm going to go with Higgins there. I'm going with Bowers over McBride. I know the defense could focus in on him, but I think he's going to get a lot of targets here. He's the only reliable receiver I think they have right now. Oh, and for those fantasy buffs that were looking like me and others for Tank Bigsby, Dearness Johnson is dominating work now. So there's that. Yeah, beautiful, right? We all wanted to hear. Any advice on low end flex to pick up or start over Garrett? You know what? Garrett Wilson is going to get some volume. I'm just hoping there's Todd Downing does a little something, anything, motion, play action, something. And if he does, that offense will be a lot better in a hurry. But at least you got a floor from Garrett Wilson. So I wouldn't bench Garrett Wilson. Unless you had a great option, it'd be a great option. Pittman, Gibson, or Ferguson. I think Ferguson, and I know it's always tough with a tight end, but he has been like bankable volume like almost every week. So I think we go with Ferguson here. I think Ferguson is the best floor of this group in PPR. Pittman, just in case he has a setback with his back, that's the only. Otherwise, I would move Pittman ahead of him. But I think if since there's worry, they said his back, if it flares up, he can't take that risk. I don't think. And Gibson's going to get some volume, but I don't know what that means, right? So yeah, I go Ferguson. Next question, pick three: Mixon, Gibson, Tracy, Tucker. I'm sitting Tucker. If he sees any real cornerback coverage from Joey Porter, he's done. And the pass rush, I don't know how much downfield game is going to work. So I'm just going to go with the other three and call it a day. Man, Gabe Davis could have had a second touchdown, but of course he couldn't reel it in. But he's reeled in 1 out of 3 touchdowns. So it's a good day for Gabe Davis. That was a little snarky, wasn't it? Chris, Fields or Daniel Jones? Oh, man. That's a tough one, too. You know what? Where do I have him ranked? I got to have him super close. I have Fields 14 and Daniel Jones 16 with upside. Remember, everybody's looking at the screen. If I have red, I have perceived downside for a player. If it's green, I have perceived upside. And that's what I'm going to say. If you want the safe play, it's not a high floor, but it's a moderate floor. It's Justin Fields. If you want to swing for upside, it's going to be Daniel Jones. All right. And obviously, Richards is not playing. We found that out, so that's not a question anymore. All right. There's no, oh, that's going to be later, I guess. Okay. Ross, Jaden Daniels or Joe Burrow? Yeah, somebody had a similar question. It's a great question. Jaden Daniels has been phenomenal. He's been like a top 2 fantasy quarterback. If Baltimore does what I think they do, I think it's a tough game for Daniels, but maybe it's not. If your gut says Daniels, how do I tell you to sit somebody that's like a top 2 fantasy quarterback? I think Burrow's safer. I think Burrow has a great floor. Kayvon Thibodeau's out. That's going to limit their pass rush quite a bit. He's part of that package. He's not been a grand his own, but together he helps that rush. But again, if you want to shoot for that big upside, maybe Baltimore has no answers for Jaden Daniels. Maybe he runs for 80 or 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it's really hard to sit Jaden Daniels. So if you've been riding him this far, keep going with it. But Burrow is in a good spot this week. Deontay, Tank, Jameson, and Wandale. I'm playing Deontay for sure. And then the best floor play of the remaining group is Wandale. I think Jameson Williams and Dell are both kind of boom bust plays, but I think Jameson Williams has a higher boom potential. I would be inclined to go Deontay, Jameson, and Wandale. Brian Thomas gets a late touchdown to bail out his fantasy day. Looks like 35-17 here, unless they go for 2. All right, full PPR. Connor, Jacobs, Pollard, Austin, Eckler. You need 2 running back in the flex. Connor for sure. Man, I bet I have Pollard and Jacobs right next to each other. I'd play the 3 running backs. I would play these 3 running backs and call it a day. They're all strong plays this week. Goff, Fields, or Jones. I do worry that Detroit's going to run the ball so much they don't have to pass. There's that. But I'm still going to go with Goff in this one. Fields doesn't probably have a whole lot of upside. Oh, there was a penalty on that touchdown, so the Brian Thomas touchdown gets called back. Christian Kirk gets a catch down to the 5. All right. Daniel Jones is the most upside of this group, though. Jones is your upside play. Obviously, Goff, if they can't run, and I don't see a world where that happens, and they had to throw, he could be great. I think Goff is the floor play, but I think Daniel Jones is your boom bust high ceiling play. Delroy, Murray, Jones, or Flacco. I'm going with Kyler, and I'm going, you know what? I know Jones has a lot of ceiling here, but with Flacco in now, it's just hard to sit him. He has been so darn good. That goes back to last year. I'm playing Murray and Flacco. Flacco's been insanely good. Jason, warning you as well. Need 2. Pierce, Liggett, Polk, or Coleman. Somebody asked that earlier. Somebody needed 2 though. I'm going to go with Pierce. Man, I'd probably go with Liggett because Coleman's matchup in the cornerback is to me too tough. Trevor Lawrence. Nope. Airmail that one. Try to throw to Gabe Davis again. Loves him from Gabe Davis. That tells you what's wrong with your team. When you're hyper targeting Gabe Davis, you got a problem on your offense. Bucky Irving, James Conner, Pollard started two. Sitting Irving. Pollard and Conner are both playing great. Neither has a tough matchup. Daniel, Tolbert, Brown, Moss, Chase Brown here. Chase Brown is your floor play. If you want to go boom bust, you can go Tolbert. But again, if Detroit runs the ball all day, Dallas might not get a lot of plays. So that's why Tolbert has a low floor. Everybody's saying shootout, maybe. But again, I think people are underselling how much you can run the ball on that defense. Solomon Grundy, that was from Superman or something like that. Point PB. All right. Dowdle, Eckler. I'm going to go with Eckler here. Dowdle has a horrible matchup. Eckler should see a number of catches here. That's a tough one, Thomas. Wandale should have a great floor in this game. I'm going to say this, and I said this earlier to somebody too. I'm the only concern with Pittman is if he really has a back issue, and if there's a problem with that, then I'm going to say maybe not. I'm going to go with Wandale because he's healthy. 4th and goal for the Jaguars. Looks like a touchdown. Who caught it? Oh, Gabe Davis. So he's caught 2 out of 4 passes. Now, Gabe Davis gets it done for fantasy today. Trevor Lawrence, a little garbage time, makes his day look decent, but he has been a disaster. All right, Chris, I did think I answered your super chat question. Yeah, I had to have gotten that. But I'm just in case I didn't, I think I got it. You were half point. You need one. Wandale, Dowdle, or Chase Brown. Yeah, I'm sure I answered that before. Both Wandale and Brown have great floors in this game. In terms of ceiling, I think actually maybe I rethink it. Wandale might have more ceiling because this game could be a shootout. So either one is great. Either we can't go wrong with either one. I think Wandale is real upside here. Maybe I'm gonna go Wandale on that one. All right, see where we're at here. All right, where are we at on the questions here? Delroy answered that. Answered that. All right, let's see where we're at. Let me just check in terms of questions and how we got to do time-wise, too, because I can get through these. Yeah, I can get through these. We're good. All right, so we are on row. Tracy, Olave, or Pittman? I just believe in my mind that Rattler's getting him the ball, Olave, and I'm going with Olave in this one. I mean, Tracy's probably getting 15 touches in this game. So Tracy probably has the most bankable floor. I just think Olave is going to get the ball a lot here, and the matchup's not oppressive. Thomas, you're welcome. Lindorphins, happy Sunday to you. Pittman playing with Flacco, roll with him or Slayton tonight. In this case, Slayton is a good matchup. There's probably a lot of points, and he is boom bust. And I am worried that Pittman could have a setback, but I think Pittman has a decent floor otherwise. If you're worried at all about a setback, play Slayton. Otherwise, I think given these two choices in this scenario, I'm going to go with Pittman. Slayton is always going to have inherent risk, especially if Trey Hendrickson has a game and is like really rushing the passer like as he can, that could hurt Slayton. Also have PPR, Addison, Worthy, Pittman. Think we answered one earlier. Need to drop one. I think that was Worthy. That would probably be the one on that. All right. Be more like Lamar. Watson, Wilson, Harris, Bateman, or Justice Hill. Man, Watson's coming back from injury, but if he's healthy enough to play against Arizona, you're not going to start him now. You're never going to start him. I'd be inclined to give him a chance. And I'd probably go with Michael Wilson here, too. I think this game's going to shoot out. Najee hasn't been playing well, and Warren's back. Bateman, if they run the ball, we've seen it in the 2 games they run, they don't pass. So that'd be – and then Justice Hill is kind of the same deal. He's part of it. But if Henry – I would probably just tend to go with Watson and Wilson here. Hill might have a more stable floor than Wilson, so you could consider that. But I think Wilson has a decent chance to score a touchdown here. Lazard. I'm going to go with Lazard in this one. Tucker, again, the problem is he's now their top receiver. The problem is he's going to get coverage now. When he's a number 3, you can hide him. Now you can't really hide him, so that's a problem. Chris, you're welcome. Appreciate you, Chris. Thanks. Should I drop TJ Hawkinson? If you don't have to. I mean, we all need tight ends, and he's probably coming back next week. I don't like the fact he doesn't have any reps with Sam Darnold. There's that, but he's TJ Hawkinson. He's one of the best tight ends in the game. So only drop him if you absolutely have to. If you could stash him, at least, maybe you can use him as a starting or even trade him. Once he gets a game on the field, you might be able to trade him if you have another good tight end. Tom, that's close. That's close. Deontay has a safer floor. He has a safer floor. Higgins, we saw last week, he's got a real ceiling right now. That offense is humming, and the Giants are. So Higgins is your ceiling play. Johnson, if you want floor, he has a high floor. So it depends if you want floor Higgins, if you want to go shoot for ceiling, risk a little downside, it would be Higgins. All right, let me see if any other injury news came up here. All right. Now I'm going to go with Ridley here over Watson. Ridley, the coaching staff said they want to get him involved coming out of the bye. He has a super easy matchup. Rob, half PPR quarterback need. Are you over? Oh, I got a couple super chats here. I got to come back to you, Rob. All right. Lucius Varinas. That's from Rome. I remember that. Caleb Williams. Come on, man. Oh, blocked it. All right. Mixon or Eckler? Since Mixon's back, I've got to go with Mixon. He's like a 3-down back, goal line back. I got to go with him here. And Gibson or Ridley, and I'm going to go with Ridley here. You hear him talk about Ridley's matchup is great. They're expressing the desire to get him the ball, and I think they will here. Warren or Watson? Man, I really wish I knew if Warren had his full explosiveness back. It's a cake matchup for Warren, but we have Najee still going to get at least half the touches here. I don't even know if Warren needs a ramp up game where he gets back to speed. DeAndre Swift fumbles, but his offensive lineman bails him out. You know what? I think Warren has a safer floor. I think Warren will get you at least 40 yards in this game. Watson, we really don't know what we're getting. I think Watson has a lot more upside here. So if you got to shoot for upside, then go with Watson. If you want a bit of a floor to make sure you're banking some points, then I'd go with Warren. All right, let's see where we're at here. All right, let's see. All right, Rob, I dropped Purdy for Kirk Cousins. Got Caleb. He gets 20. I would go with Cousins here. There is a chance they run the ball so well they don't have to pass, but Cousins is getting on the same page with his receivers, and they are a real good offense right now. I would keep Cousins and say you could use him going forward. I have a top 10 quarterbacks week. Now, again, if they run, there's downside, but I do trust him this week. Wow. You know what? I am going with Josh Allen here in a bad matchup because, again, my thought on that Dallas-Detroit game, and if you don't agree with this logic, then go with Dak. I still think Detroit is going to run the ball so often and so well that Dallas is not going to have time of possession. And then their offensive line might not hold up if they're pass dependent because of that pass rush from Hayden Hutchinson. I'm going to give Allen the edge here. Joshua, I think Bucky Irving has a higher floor. He's going to get a lot of touches, so he's a safer play. Could Tank Dell have that game? New England's down a lot of people. Their free safety's on legal trouble. He's not playing. Dell is your boom bust guy. I think he could have that boom game, but he hasn't shown it this year. Irving is way safer, and he'll see targets as well as rushes. So if you want the safe play with a high floor, go Irving. If you want to risk lower floor for some high upside, then you might go with Tank Dell. Downs or Mooney? Man, that's a tough one too. Man, Mooney's been playing at such a high level. I think ultimately Downs is the focal point for Joe Flacco. So I think Downs has a higher floor because, again, I think Atlanta could run the ball successfully. So that's gonna be my sticking point. Wow, nice pass by Caleb Williams on a 4th and 3. So that's the way I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna go with Downs, but Mooney. If your gut says Mooney, go with it. Where did that question go? The question just disappeared on me. Here it is. All right, good. Allen or Hill in the flex? If you Taysom Hill's injured, Tyreek's on a bye. I don't know what Hill we're talking about. I have no I am I missing something? I don't know what Hill you're talking about. There's no Hill playing day to my knowledge, unless I'm wrong. And I again, I'm not Brian. Re-ask your question. I have no idea who you mean, unless I'm totally bonking on something. Kyle Coleman, Shakir, if he plays your ups, Shakir is supposed to play the Monday night game. I trust him way more than those other two options. But you know what? Here, make it real simple. Play Shakir, and since Coleman's in the same game, if Shakir gets ruled out, then just pivot to Coleman. Make it real easy. Yeah, Spaceman, I'd go with Downs over Dell right now because Flacco just gets him the ball. You can see he immediately looks for him. Mooney, Bucky, or I assume Deontay Johnson. I would go with Deontay Johnson for floor in this one. Again, Mooney's been great, but they might have success on the ground. I think Deontay is one of those games where he gets 8+ catches. I'm going to go with him there. All good choices. I got to go Kraft. They said they would get Pitts the ball in the last game, and they did, but they threw 50 something passes. So everybody ate. Kraft has been playing well. He's been more stable than Pitts. I'm going to go with him. Sutton has a great matchup, but I think the Bengals could put up a lot of points. So I think your probability lies with Higgins. Yeah, ETN hurt us all. I don't have access now to a current weather report. I did talk to my meteorologist friend, Dennis Michelson, earlier this morning, and he didn't expect any games would be heavily impacted by weather. Wind is the thing we worry about, or torrential. I mean, he didn't say anything that was the forecast. But if you hear that, then that might be different. Tracy Pittman or Wandale. Tracy's close. Wandale just gets so much volume, and I think they're going to need him in this game. I'm giving Wandale the edge here. If your gut says Tracy, go with it. Eckler over James Cook. Cook's supposed to play. The Jets are weaker against runs. So you have Ty Johnson. I would play Cook and then pivot to Ty Johnson if you need to. Devontae Smith, J-Mo against Dallas. Ridley. I'm going to rank them for you because I'm not sure what your question is. I would rank them Devontae, J-Mo, and Ridley, but Ridley has a higher floor than J-Mo. So it's Devontae, J-Mo, Ridley, but Ridley is higher floor. J-Mo is boom bust. They might not have to throw a lot. Evan Sermon, Deontay Johnson, Tolbert, bench 1. If you agree with me that you think Detroit's going to run the ball down Dallas's throats, then Dallas might not get the ball much, and I would sit Tolbert. Otherwise, I would be more inclined to sit Sermon in a timeshare against a decent defense. Pittman, Judy, or Ridley start one. I'm going to go with Ridley, just in the case that Pittman may have a setback. Coleman, are we waiting through that one already, Kyle? I think we answered that for you already. Dobbins, Pollard, Reed, Devontae Smith. You need to pick 2. Wow. Pollard and Reed. I'd go Pollard and Reed. Devontae is so close, but Pollard's been playing great, and his matchup is fantastic. Brent Cook, Chase Brown, Tyrone Tracy. I would be inclined to go Cook and Chase Brown here. Cook's been playing great. He's supposed to play. If you're at all nervous he's not going to play, then just put Tracy. And Tracy should be great too. They're all great plays. You can't go wrong either way. Chase Brown should have a lot of room to run. He's been so good on limited touches. Sermon, Najee, or Moss, pick 2. I'm going to sit Najee. Najee's been terrible, and Warren's back. And I think Najee's been so bad that he might not get enough work. Jason, good morning. Make sure I got all the super chat. Jason, before I get back to you. Yeah, I answered all the super chat. All right. Pierce, Liggett, Tolbert, or Coleman? I think I answered this one already. I'm going to go with Pierce. Take the boom bust shot on Tolbert. Take the boom bust shot on Tolbert. Pittman or Flowers. It's a tough one because when Baltimore runs the ball, they don't throw the ball. Flowers had those 2 bad games because they ran, and I think there's a game where they just run. I think Pittman's safer. Again, his back could be an issue. So if you're worried about his back, then go ahead with Flowers. I think Pittman has a higher floor if he makes it through the game. Morning flex. Lazard or Tolbert? Tolbert's your boom bust play because if Dallas can somehow slow down the Detroit run game, then I think they can have enough opportunities to pass. Lazard has a higher floor. Tyrone Tracy, I'm projecting him for about 65 to 70 yards. It's just a solid game. It's a very solid game. His touchdown, I have him running back 17. So I have him as a solid running back play. He has a very easy matchup. They both are boom bust. So I'm going to go Jameson Williams. Go with the better player. I'm going with Wandale in case Pittman has a setback. I see him as very equal. Since they're equal, Pittman's dealing with the injury. So there's that. Wicks, Leggett, or Shakir need one. I'm going to go just Shakir's supposed to play. So roll with him. I'm going to give Mooney the edge here. I just said if Baltimore runs the ball, they don't throw. And I think Mooney has been a big part of that offense. Mooney has a safer floor. They both have ceiling. Fields or Love? Love. I think Love's in a shootout here. Mixon or Connor? My answer is always James Conner. Everybody knows I love James Conner. I have Connor as my running back 6 this week. Green Bay is one of the worst teams in the league at stopping duo downhill runs, and we saw that this team can run downhill. I think it's a perfect matchup for James Conner. I'm going with Connor. All right, you need to drop one. Pittman, Wandale, Mooney. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's like a nearly impossible one. You know what? Gosh. Pittman's a great player. He hasn't had a great start. Could get better as the year goes on. Mooney's been great. I wouldn't drop any of them, but I would probably the 3 I would have to be Wandale. I hate to say that. God, I hate to say it. I mean, Wandale's playing better than Pittman, but when Neighbors comes back, again, he eats up so many targets. I would say Wandale reluctantly. Oh, you heard the answer. I think you asked it earlier, so you should be fine, right? We went with Cook and Trace Brown. Tracy's close. I'm really worried when Dobbins has tough matchups, but with Gus Edwards on the IR, Dobbins might get excited work. I'm going to give Dobbins the edge here. He could see some receptions here. Appreciate you, Dr. Roberto. I got the super chat answered already. Dave, all right. Olave, Hopkins, Ty Johnson, Evans. I'm going with I believe that Spencer Rattler did not lie when he said I'm getting the ball to Olave, and he'll be able to in this game. So I like him there. Murray or Fields? Murray. Murray should be in a shootout. Deontay Wanda. I'm going with Deontay. Deontay should have a super high. Last week's match, we faded him last week. It was a bad matchup. This week, not the case. Shakir is supposed to play. Wandale has a safer floor because he gets the ball every week. Ridley is supposed to be getting the ball there. It is an easy matchup. I love them both. Wandale's safer. I think Ridley has real upside in this game. But if you want the safest play, it's Wandale. This is closer. And that is closer because Joe Flacco's in. I'm going to go. It's super close. I'm giving Downs a 51-49 edge. If your gut says Ridley, go with it. I think either could go off. I'm going to go with Flacco. I think Daniel Jones has real upside in this game, but Flacco's just been great. Take Denver. Go with Denver. They have a great matchup too. Going with Olave. Same question. If you have a quarterback that's a weekly starter, Mahomes has been a quarterback too since week 7 of last year. He's not a starting a fantasy football quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's going to win a Super Bowl probably again, but he's not a fantasy option. So you could drop him. Hate to say it, but you can. If you have a good quarterback, you can. Oh my God, I'm not going to say that because I would say right now, I would probably have Caleb Williams ahead of, in my rest of seeing ranking after today, I'm moving Caleb Williams ahead of of Patrick Mahomes for fantasy, not for real football, for fantasy. All right. Keep Goddard or Gesicki. Go with Goddard. Gesicki is just, he doesn't see enough snaps. So he's real dependent on the few chances he gets. Brian, I'm going to go with Justice Hill. It's close. It's very close. But I think they're going to run so much, he's going to get involved more. He's going to have more touches. Bucks, Jets, or Packers. The Bucks are going to blitz a lot against a rookie quarterback with the Bucks. All right, we've got Downs or Deontay. That's 50-50. I think Deontay is a safer floor. Much easier matchup for him this week. Downs is playing with Flacco, and he's great with him. So they both have ceiling. They both have floor. I would lean Deontay. I would say 51-49. If you have a gut feel, go with it because it's that close. It's really split down the middle. Trade Bowers and Shakir or Charbonnet for Josh Allen and Kincaid. You have Richardson. If Richardson's your only quarterback and you need a quarterback, you got to make a trade because Richardson is he was a quarter. He was not 50% of his passes. So you can't. Brent, thanks. Okay, and you asked me that already. Since Christian Watson's back and Wicks only has caught 30% of his passes, I'm going to go with Spears. I'm going with Ridley. I do think they're going to force him the ball this week. His matchup could not be better. No pass rush from Indy, no cornerbacks worth. So yeah, I'd go with Ridley. If boom bust would be Tolbert, but again, I don't know how much they're going to have the ball in this game. Love or Cousins. I'm going to go with Love. I think that there's more of a chance that they're going to run the ball in this game. Atlanta. Green Bay is more likely to have to pass the ball because of the shootout. Whereas I could see a world where Atlanta runs the ball with a lot of success. Dobbins or Eckler. I'm going to go with Eckler because I do think he catches more passes in this one. McConkey or Justice Hill. Man, McConkey has a bad cornerback matchup, but I think he gets enough targets to make him man. I'm going to give him a slightest of edges over Justice Hill just because there are so many ways that Justice Hill might not see enough snaps. But McConkey will be on the field full time. Not worried about Jair Alexander on Harrison specifically. They play zone. I don't know. They play a lot of zone. They pass off. This is really a matter of how much they want to target Harrison. That's really all it is. The weather, again, to my knowledge, unless you guys hear something different, if the winds aren't over 15 miles an hour, rain's an advantage to the offense every time. Every time. Unless the winds are over, if the winds are over 20, say, then it's a problem. But I don't think there's an issue there. I would play Marvin Harrison. I would say I would play him over Slayton every time. Even if Slayton goes off, I would sleep easy knowing I had Harrison in my lineup. Jameson Williams is boom bust, but you play him. Broncos, it's close. I give the Broncos an edge because they're the better defense. That neither. Maybe the Colts because the quarterback play is so bad. You're welcome. AJ and London are definitely in. McLaurin's your boom bust, or Higgins is your floor. With the highest floor, it's Higgins. If you want the highest ceiling but risk a lower floor, it's Terry McLaurin. That's your call. Chuba, Dobbins, Downs, Tolbert, 2 for flex. I'd go Chuba and Downs. Both should be heavily involved. Downs or Wandale at flex. That's like a 50-50, but I think Downs has more upside. It's 50-50, but I'm going to prefer Downs because of the Joe Flacco thing. CJ Boom or CJ Stroud. Yes, I am outside my top 10 quarterback. I'm a quarterback 11. He hasn't been a quarterback 1 this year. He has one regular season game with more than 2 touchdowns in his career. So, and I don't know there's a boom. I think you might get a higher floor than usual if he has a good game. I don't see a big ceiling game. I mean, could it happen? Yes. Nico Collins out hurts them. Last question. Njoku or likely? I'm going to go Njoku, and like they only had 2 touchdowns, but only had 2 catches or 3 catches last week. I'm going to go with Njoku. I think he's healthy and he's back. Thanks, everyone. Good luck this week.